Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Rome 2 with the Caesar and Gaul campaign. So, if just to remind you what happened last time, we can actually see the battle that happened last time down here, where Caesar and I can't remember who else we brought down there to finish off those two barbarian forces down by the coast, out there in the swamp. It was a very tough battle, but we won and we destroyed the enemy. Since then, since it was so close to winter anyways, I thought, you know what, it's gonna be winter. There's not really gonna be any movements made during winter. We'll just go through all the end turns so I can actually do some proper campaigning. But the thing is, you can actually move through winter, because if you take a look at the campaign map right here, so along the road you can see that there's still grassy areas, and you can actually march on the roads without suffering attrition. So I thought, you know what, I'll pull a fast one and I'll attack the Nervi at Vienna before the winter's gone, so we'll be able to take that and still make progress through winter. And that was my plan. As you can see, I started to implement it. I've moved one legion over here, and then we've moved another one over here. So I was readying up to attack them during winter. However, then the enemy kind of pulled a fast one on me, and they disregarded the fact that there's no roads out to the settlement for some god-awful reason. I don't know exactly how they thought you would get to this town. But anyways, they marched through the forest and through the thick snow, which you can see they've lost quite a few men in their units. Quite a lot, if you imagine that most of these are 240 men to start off with. So they have lost what? A lot anyways, over 50 people for each unit, which I must say is quite a lot. So I think it will be pretty easy to take this on, but I thought, you know what, this probably would have worked just as well doing off camera, but we don't get that many snow battles, do we? So I thought we'd do this one, and yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and defeat this bird helmet dude. We know the map since before. We have been here quite a few times before, as a lot of these Gallic villages seem to follow the same pattern. So there's probably not a lot of architects within their society. But then again, most of the Roman towns look the same as well. I have gone ahead and laid out my defenses as per usual. We're defending the line, and yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and start this. So it's kind of a broken down enemy armor that comes against us through the snow. But since I've played this quite a few times, I think we can even reduce the defense here even more, just to have one line, and then see about using more lines or more units actually leaving the top here to encircle the enemy and make a complete, make sure that we get a complete destruction of this enemy force. I wish this army had archers, because then I would have been able to set fire to these pits, or at least some vulgus that could be sacrificed. So what always kind of happens is that the enemy cavalry decides to charge straight in, and they usually go through this area, and they always run onto whatever I put here. So what I really should have done is just spammed anti-cavalry stuff throughout here, but I didn't want to make it too meta, so I just put a few. One thing I should say here is that I have actually been able to recruit, not these, but Gaulic noblemen's cavalry as mercenaries for Mark Antony's army. So I kind of realized that you can recruit different types of units in different types of areas. So I'm wondering if that goes for the... let's see, are they... No, they're not on throw at will. So I'm wondering if that goes for the... what's it called? The auxiliary camps. If it could be... that if I build auxiliary camps in those areas, that I could be recruiting these units. So I've noticed around the Narbo area that there is where I get those archers, which are really good, since they murder all these unarmored people, and they usually get around a few hundred kills every battle. So we can see them all kind of getting swamped there. We're gonna get all of these guys to run around with the cavalry, come around the enemy as they're all focusing in here. I put a lot of traps here. It's kind of interesting how these idiots decide to go through that wonky way just to kind of move on the traps. We have only lost 5 men here and 1 guy here. 2 over here and no over here. So they're being kind of ballsy, coming pretty close. Normally they sit and wait down here for quite a while. And you know what? We're gonna set this on fire before we lose the chance to even use them. And it was pretty darn effective. Normally we kind of mess this up. I do have this one, which can also, you know what, let's set these off as well. I think they're gonna hit mostly down here, so I think that could be useful. Did we set? We didn't get all of them. There's still 2 over here, which would be nice. Oh, there's actually 3. This one's kind of out of the way of the fight, so we're gonna move on back and tell him to throw Pila. And there we go, rolling down into this mess. They're surprisingly effective for just being like hay bales. That is, I don't know what they've done to them more than, I mean, obviously set them on fire, but ooh, it would have been nice because everyone's kind of lining up over there. Now we're starting to see some loss of troops here. Have you thrown all your... Yes, you have. Then push in. Right, so we're gonna get these 3 to go here. Gonna definitely put them like that. And then these 4... It's gonna come around through the back. We'd actually have some exposed archers there. Get the cavalry to come in. So the main line is still holding. And we're gonna inspire. There was one that has lost quite a few soldiers. Is this one down to 112. They lost there in the Nervite champion charge. We know that that's really deadly. So that's where they lost all those troops. Got these 3, and for those who are wondering, this is the 6th Legion, just for those that like to keep a track. And
one of our units has used all its ammunition.
Absolute destruction. One thing that I note that I haven't used as of yet, but I've noticed that a lot of the pilas and stuff get stuck in these. So I'm wondering at some point I could actually use that as a strategy to cover my own troops. Okay, the fighting here goes well. We got Nervite champion actually getting routed. They're sending most of their troops over here. Problem with marching here is there's still some traps that haven't been triggered. So I'm gonna think about that. I think what we'll do, we'll send 2 down here and then 2 to clean this up. And then I think the main fight's actually gonna happen here, as they moved most of their army. But it's most of the weaker troops. I can see some troops actually wearing clothes, but most of them aren't. And we're kind of slaughtering them down there. Right, let's see. So I want 2 legions, or 2 cohorts over there. And then I want the other 2 over here. And these we're gonna select when they're gonna throw. So we're gonna do it like that. And right now, oh, they've sent in their general. Which doesn't have a lot of men left in the bodyguard, and is quickly losing more and more men. We're gonna inspire this one, and we're gonna see about... we're gonna beat them just by that, just because they evacuated so many men from actually going up the center instead of going here. So now the general is even routing in the middle of all of this. Let's see if we can get him as he retreats. I can't see him, but it would be difficult. Right, he died. So that's a big boost to us. And we held here. And I don't know what these guys are doing, but we're gonna block them off. So these 2 are gonna move up through here. We might set off our own traps a little bit, but I don't think it's actually gonna be that dangerous. You know what? I really want to get rid of the archers and crap, so we're gonna send those 2 over there. We're just gonna place 1 with 1 back up there. And these, you know what? They actually do... They do actually... Or they don't, I should say. They haven't thrown the Pila. I was hoping we would get them showing their backs against when they were trying to break this down. But we got it just as well. Okay, so I don't really want to throw at these, but I think killing loads of people in the back here is probably going to be such a morale debuff to them. There's so many people going to die. Right. Move in. We cut that one down. Okay, so I don't really need these 2 over here anymore. Instead I can block in this one, and we can smash that one. This army is now completely getting destroyed. Or army, I shouldn't say. So there's a few units of the barbarians. You know what? We don't even need to fight you, do we? We've got cavalry to chase you down. Most of the enemy is routing at this point. Send in all the cavalry. And the legionnaires are now moving in for the final blow against these bastards as they're trying to leave. Headbutted that guy as he stabbed him. Cut some heads off. Ooh, that guy threw him over the shield. And right up the belly. Ooh. And kick him in the face. Ah, slash him. And cut them all down. Some of them are making it for the hills, but of course we're gonna have some people to tax later on, right? Just gonna order everyone to charge at haste towards these idiots. Let's move down the legate, and he can inspire this and use the legionary loyalty, because why not? The thing is, oftentimes it's one of those things like mana potions and stuff, that if you have a limited amount, you're like, there's gonna be a better use for these later on. Maybe, I mean, it's difficult right now, but it could get even more difficult, so maybe I'll use it later. And oftentimes you just don't, or you end up not using it at all. Okay, so these guys are feeling the heat right now, especially these guys, which are, well, the heat on the dance floor for these idiots. And they do really look like that, don't they? Look like a typical early 2000s douche kind of haircut. He should have had like frosted tips, and then it would have been perfect, and especially with that stupid dance he did as well. Anyways, we were victorious, and maybe we can go ahead and even fit the attack on Vienna in this video. So let's see, let's at least go back to the campaign map and take a look at our situation. So we performed really well, and the battle only lasted for 12 minutes. We didn't completely destroy them, but if we look at the numbers here, I lost only about 500 men, while the enemy lost 2,500. And more slaves, because I'm actually kinda running out of money at this point. I guess I recruited too many legions. Enslaved them. 899 to be marched through the snow. Oh! And they evacuated Vienna to actually facilitate their attack, their increase in rank for the general that was in command of the 6th Legion. Very good. I could definitely see the Senate starting to be worried, since I've raised... How many legions do I have? Forces. Let's see, so we have the 1st Legion, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 legions. And it just keeps going on and on, isn't it? So I was talking earlier about recruiting, so I noticed I can recruit the Gallic hunters here. So I'm wondering if I build an auxiliary camp in this region, if it could be that I could recruit them here. Is there any special unit here? No, there's just the same archers and stuff. So what I was noticing is over here, where Mark Anthony is, that I could get these noble horsemen, mercenary noble horsemen, which they're expensive. They'll cost me 670 per turn, but they're hella good cavalry unit. Did I move my navy? No. Oh yes. Now I remember what I was supposed to do for this episode. I was supposed to attack and take back this port by using the navy. However, I think that's a longer battle, because we'll actually have to march into the town, which has a garrison and stuff. So I guess that's next video actually. We still have a little bit, so I think I can at least march forward here and take this. What I want to see though is I want to use the spy, because I knew they had 2 armies along the road here. Okay, so they have nothing here. But that's of course because that's the bloody Averni that holds this place. So of course they move to winter camps further away. What I want to know is have they anything along this line? All these witches and crap as well. It's really annoying. That could be really effective if they actually was super useful. Bribe commander is really easy. What we're gonna do is we're gonna bribe this unit. It would be cool if I actually got them, like you would in older. So this army is dying in the snow, and he just gained a level. Wonderful. So the 11th Legion is going to march through here, and as you can see, if they stay by the road, you don't actually take attrition. But if you march just a little bit off the road, then you'll die by the effects of winter. So we're going to take Vienna, And you know what? This is an auto-resolve. This is definitely an auto-resolve. And what can we do? Aggressive. Aggressive, I think aggressive is for when you have mostly melee infantry. And then you be defensive when you have a lot of archers. So we lost only 300 men, roughly. And we just took Vienna. Which sounds more impressive than it actually is. I'm gonna just set fire to all of that. And Vienna is part of this, which will move on to take this. So it's kind of a big failure, really, that I lost this to the Averni, which took this back. And also, when they took the what's it called? The wood the special wood you can get from this region. Guess it's some kind of oak or something. It actually affected the ability of my navy. I believe if you have that wood, the units that you promote are better. Which I think, yes, I only got it for the Admiral, the hull. But this navy is ready, so I think that we'll do that next turn. We'll travel along the coast. Hopefully they'll stay there so we can strike the so-called Winds of Vengeance. We'll sink them in port, move the Marines inland and take back that settlement. The thing is that there might be loads of their navies just swarming around to attack that. Also, this holds a specific... I don't know what this is. It's like a special thingamajiggy that the aliens built for the Averni, or whatever tribe lived here before. Right. So we're going pretty nice right now. I mean, the Averni, they did declare war again against us, and they took back part of what they lost. But I mean, in the long run, they probably just kind of screw themselves over, because now I'm gonna show no mercy, and we're gonna take all of it, or as much as possible. But we're gonna focus more here, because I'm gonna try anyways, because that is what the campaign goals are. Which I don't look at here, I look at them there. Which, I mean, the campaign goals really didn't fit with how my campaign was going there early on, because we got so stopped here, and there was so much more of a necessity to you know, cut down the Averni. And also, as some has pointed out, that it's getting a bit easier now at this point in the campaign. That I might want to up it by actually enabling some of those, but I think we'll do that for the summer period. So I'll just play it with this so-called easier version now. The thing is, I'm fearing that we'll move into... I don't want to move into that kind of stalemate again. And I definitely don't want to lose big chunks because I can't protect the front line. So I definitely want to limit the front line in one way or another. Oh, do you know what? There is a force right there. Why didn't I see that one? That is encamped. And they could move on this legion. But I think these guys have a pretty good shot at holding this. Plus they're replenished, so they'll be most likely fully replenished once these guys decide to attack, if they're going to attack. And I got the bows to cut these guys down, depending on what defense I get here. Yeah, it's not that bad. But otherwise I would be kind of worried having a legion. They haven't lost that many men, but having a legion exposed like that. Yeah. Yes, so with that, I'm gonna end this video. And as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoy this. And hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!